Hello, Dr. Francis. I have been to several interviews and I've been to stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and I don't really understand why I am not being selected. Is there something wrong with what I am doing? Hello, welcome to the Scrum chat room with Dr. Francis Mbunya, the place where we keep it real and we go into the baseline to look at some of the common mistakes that you might be making that is depriving you from getting that first Scrum Master job. And today we want to talk about how to respond to interview question. How do you respond to interview question in a way that put you ahead of others? Today's video is going to be something really simple, straight to the point. But before we get into the video, if you're not yet part of this amazing community, I want you to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this video, because I bet you it's going to benefit you. One promise: listen to the end, and you are going to definitely learn something about Scrum today. If you don't learn something, obviously you're going to enjoy me talking. Right now, this is something I want you to understand. It is a very simple technique that is going to help you improve the way you respond to your interview. So, if you are in an interview and someone asks you the question, tell me about how you run your sprint planning. How are you going to respond to it? Now, we are not focusing on the correctness, we are focusing on the how. We're focusing on the tone that you want to use to respond. We're focusing on how do you speak. Right. Many people generally respond, oh yeah, thank you. The sprint planning, it entails us checking the capacity before the sprint planning. We have to do this. We have to make sure the capacity is right. We have to follow up with the product owner to make sure that all the stories are in place and ready during the sprint planning. What we do during the sprint planning is that we check to see if the velocity is right, the capacity is right, and we estimate story. We might use planning poker, or we might use this. Okay, stop. What did you notice about the way I was responding? I was talking as if I'm explaining something to somebody. I wasn't talking as if I am an expert in that area. So if you are asked such a question in an interview, what you want to do is that you want to use I work with my team during the sprint planning as a Scrum Master, or you can say, in my last position as a Scrum Master, while I was working with this team, during the sprint planning, what I will do. So now you shift from the generic, you need to make sure that this, you need to make sure that this is right, you need to make sure that now you have to personalize it. During the sprint planning, what I do is that I check with my team to see who is taking vacation, and that helped me to be able to estimate the capacity we have for the team. I also consult with the product owner just to have some heads up about the workload that is being demanded, and also to validate if we have everything ready, from the collaboration of the stakeholders to the backlog, if you're ready. If there's any other communication that we need to get in place before the sprint planning, I do those pre-checks. In the actual day of the spring planning, what I normally do is that at the spring meeting, I introduce the spring, let's say spring 29. I say, hello, welcome to spring 29. I am going to let the product owner tell us what is our goal for this spring. And I roll it over to the product owner. The product owner now gives us, okay, team, during the spring planning, the customer wants us to focus on XYZ. And now as a Scrum Master, I facilitate how we are going to estimate the work that meet our capacity. And one of the things I also do during the spring planning is that although I have previously followed up with my team to know what is the available capacity, I like to do a double check because things can change overnight to see who is available, how many hours they're taking vacation, and that helped me to understand how much the team can take. So that why I am estimating, why I and my team estimating, not I. Now a big correction there. As a Scrum Master, you facilitate a team. So you always need to do, I am my team. I help my team. I work with my team. Right? You cannot work alone as a Scrum Master. Now, why, when we understand our capacity and how many people are available, we start going through the story one after another. And when I open up a story, I am definitely going to ask the team if they understand exactly what is demanded for them. We need to verify is the description of the story up to task, is in details, if are the acceptance criteria clear enough, and can we estimate this story? Can we complete the story independently, or is this story dependent on another story? If this story is dependent on another story, then we need to now understand if we have the full capacity, or how are we going to manage the dependency that's occurring between the story and the other story. Now, the adjusted Fibonacci sequence, the number you see from 0, half, 1, 3, 5, 8, 13, 40, 100. Those numbers are called adjusted Fibonacci sequence, and they help you to be able to allocate points to the story. And let's say if your team velocity, let's say it's 43, and then you start estimating and pulling out work from the backlog into the spring backlog, from the product backlog into the spring backlog, until when you get at your maximum capacity, which is 43, now you have to stop, right? And not all stories have to be equal in story points. You can have stories that are 1 point, 3 point, 8 point, but what you do is that you continuously add them up until when you have your full capacity, then you are ready to run. Right. Then, when you have your full capacity, what you have at that point is a spring backlog. The spring backlog simply means that you have pulled out items from the product backlog into a spring, and that means that those items need to be executed within that specific period. And remember, when we started the sprint, I asked this product owner, what is the goal? The reason the product owner is participating in the planning is because if the team is not so clear about any story that they want to develop, the person they ask more detail, more clarification from is the product owner. You, the Scrum Master, your goal is to facilitate. Now, some teams might require the Scrum Master to help them in writing stories, but you would bear with me that although when you are learning how to become Scrum Master, you learn how to write a good story. Story writing in a basic form is the work of the product owner. Why? The product owner understands more technicality of the product and should be the one doing it. You can step in as a product owner to assist in writing, but the accountability of what is in the backlog is owed to the product owner. Now, when all of this is done, we have our spring goal and we have our spring backlog. And then I make sure that I get my team to commit to the work just by asking each of my team members, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Now, if you work in a safe environment, what you do is that you do a confidence vote to see how the people are confident. If you work in a Scrum environment, what you do is that you just confirm with everyone if they okay, if they have any question. Now that's when they all commit to the backlog. Your sprint planning is complete when everyone commit to the backlog and think they okay, I have no question. Perfect. Now, why do I do this? I did this to be able to illustrate to you how you respond to a question. You need to use an active voice. You need to put yourself in the action rather than trying to explain what it is. Because when you're explaining what it is, it seems like if you're telling a story that you heard. And most often, that doesn't really get you to the right point. But also, there's also some technical aspect that they might want to push to see if you have what it takes to take up a story, to really become a Scrum Master. For instance, how many team members did you have? What was your velocity? What was some of the difficult challenge you have? What was the importance of the product you're building? All of these only come in to try to test your knowledge, which is why it's very important for you to understand the product you're working on, for you to understand the case study. And if you want to learn how to do this in a more proper way, you can be able to reach out to me. I'm going to leave my number on the screen. Because you've watched this video up to the end, I actually know that you might be interested to get some professional coaching. Feel free to reach out to me. We can talk about how this can go around, but definitely, it's definitely not free. But what is important is for you to be able to do the right thing so that you reduce the number of interviews that you take towards your job, and that you do the right thing at the right time, saving you some time. Okay, that was what we have for today. Do have a great day and enjoy your journey of becoming a Scrum Master. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. I'll see you in the next video.